Proud to serve northeastern and central Pennsylvania. This is WNEP TV 16, the news station. Now, Nolan, Johannes, Karen Harch, Jack Ruland in SciCam 16. Meteorologist Tom Clark with his backyard forecast. And Tim Carlson Sports. This is Newswatch 16.
Good evening. It may have been a small storm, but it was a strong one.
People in the Shavertown area of Luzerne County are learning what flash flood really means. Newswatch 16's Mark Davis has been in that area all day long. He's live there now. Mark?
Karen, if you're familiar, any of the viewers are familiar with this area, we're on Main Street in Shavertown. Now, Route 309, the main artery, is right over there, and this is the main street just a block off that. This has been underwater for a good part of the afternoon. While the water is receding slowly, things are only slightly better than they were a little while ago. People here say this was worse than Hurricane Agnes in 1972. Reports say about 3 inches of rain fell in just a short time, only about an hour. The residents say Toby's Creek, normally very quiet, was turned into a raging torrent along Main Street in Shavertown, coming up in only about 5 minutes. Gladys Wood had just come home from work. Gladys and her cat had to be rescued.
Oh, my legs don't want to go now. Are you all right? Yeah, I'm all right. They don't want to go.
What happened?
Oh, God.
What happened?
That current is so strong in that road.
Several businesses were inundated. At Back Mountain Lumber, they were sandbagging to try and protect and save what they could. Next door at Merchants Bank, the new drive-through window under construction is now also underwater. Homebound motorists were slowed by water covering Route 309. Traffic backed up for miles as people tried their best to get home. Now, some of the very latest information that we've just been given by various power companies and water companies and everything that is affected back here. About 260 customers of the Dallas-Shavertown Water Company are without water. In fact, these guys over here are from the Dallas-Shavertown Water Company. They are right now loading water that will be delivered to many of the customers who are without water. UGI says about 3,500 customers were without power for a good part of the afternoon. All but 500 of those people now have power back on. Also, Luzerne County emergency management officials are asking that any fire department in the Luzerne County area with portable water pumps, if they're available, please bring them to the Shavertown Shopping Center on Route 309. There's a staging area there, and the pumps are needed because once this water goes down, all the cellars and everything will have to be pumped out. Also, the Red Cross is here. Now, no evacuation centers per se have been opened up just yet, but they are assessing the situation to see how many people have been put out of their homes by this flood, and they'll make any arrangements later on tonight. They're also keeping an eye to the sky because there are reports that another thunderstorm is moving this way. Tom Clark will have more on that a little bit later on, and we hope to have more for you later on during the newscast. For now, I'm Mark Davis, Newswatch 16, live with the Instacam in Shavertown. Karen, Nolan?
Thank you, Mark. And we've just learned that College Misericordia has canceled night classes for the night because of a power outage due to that storm in the Back Mountain of Luzerne County. And as Mark said, the weather problems around here are not over yet.
Chief Meteorologist Tom Clark is in his weather office right now. Tom, what's coming next?
Okay, Nolan and Karen. First of all, the problem today has been with the thunderstorms moving very slowly through the area. Now, look at live Skywatch 16 Doppler radar. It does not show any thunderstorms in the Shavertown area now. No storms in Luzerne County and Lackawanna County. However, a big thunderstorm now in northern Columbia County and more storms scattered across Bradford County and Susquehanna County. A flash flood watch remains in effect for Lackawanna, Wyoming, and Luzerne County through the evening hours tonight. So if you live in a flood-prone area, keep alert as to changing conditions. Karen, Nolan?
Okay, Tom, thank you. Heavy rains had police in Scranton evacuating people in 4 stores because of subsidence. Last night's heavy rain in Scranton is thought to have caused this hole in the 2000 block of Boulevard Avenue. The hole was about 12 feet deep and 8 feet long when we took this picture, and is under the building that houses those stores. Gas was turned off as a precaution. The building houses a pizza parlor, video rental, clothing store, and a state liquor outlet. The stores are expected to be closed for 2 days until some steel beams can be put into place to prop up the Green Ridge area building in Scranton. And when Newswatch 16 continues, Action 16 has 2 stories. One, an update on fines against a Wayne County business.
The other, helping a Luzerne County family get to the bottom of an insurance mix-up. Hills is a place for sale. That's true. Hills has a gigantic selection of girls' dresses. And just $1 down lays away up to 5 girls' dresses. Dresses that are the same quality as those you could find in a fancy department store.
But Hill's prices are low every day. And just $1 down lays away up to 5 girls' dresses at Hill's.
Because next to low prices, clothing is our claim to fame.
Here's Joe Amato, top fuel champion and president of A&A Auto Parts Stores.
We at A&A pride ourselves on giving you top quality parts and dependable service at the lowest prices for whatever you drive.
T running boards, bright tread style for Chevy pickups only $69.95 a set. Extruded style also available at similar savings.
You can depend on A&A Auto Parts. I do.
Race to an A&A Auto Parts store near you.
A Luzerne County couple was tired of dealing with a long overdue hospital bill and called Action 16 for help. Jerry Gartenberg reports they were worried that they might be stuck paying something that should have been covered by their insurance company.
I contacted Blue Cross and I said, how come it isn't being paid?
Stella Kubelis couldn't understand why Blue Cross kept turning down her medical insurance claim, leaving her and her husband Vincent with a $167 hospital bill and a question. How come Blue Cross refused to pay when she was covered under her husband's policy with the insurance company? True, the policy had run out by the time she wrote to me, but it was still valid the day of her hospital treatment. The only thing the Luzerne County woman could figure is that the hospital, St. Joseph's in Hazleton, sent Blue Cross the claim too late.
The hospital said, no matter when we send the bill out, Blue Cross should pay for it.
But they didn't. It turns out Stella Kubelis' claim kept getting rejected because St. Joseph's Hospital kept sending Blue Cross the number from her old policy, which had expired long ago. But after my letter, the hospital discovered the error, then sent Blue Cross the right information, the number from her husband's more recent policy. Soon after, Blue Cross paid the bill, all $167.
Are you glad that your husband convinced you not to give up on this?
Yes, I'm glad.
Tell me why.
Because I figure he's been working so hard to pay for the insurance and things like that, and I just didn't want to have no trouble. And I mean, he stepped in and he paid for it, and that was on. I'm very glad.
So, with a little help from Action 16, Blue Cross finally got the information needed to pay the Kubelis' claim. Now, the people at St. Joseph's Hospital do admit, plain and simple, a clerical error at the hospital caused the medical insurance mix-up. But if you find yourself mixed up in any kind of consumer complaint and you can't solve it on your own, you ought to send a letter to me, Jerry Gartenberg, right here at Action 16. We're at Box 16 in Avoca, Pennsylvania, and our zip is 18641. And now, folks, I want to update you on a company I told you about more than a month ago when federal postal inspectors halted all customer orders to American Genealogies Incorporated of Sterling. Well, today, the Wayne County Company assured the state attorney general it won't mislead consumers about what they're actually getting when they buy a book like this from the company. The attorney general believes cards and letters sent out by American Genealogies can give people the false impression that the book contains a list of relatives instead of just a list of people sharing the same family name. Well, under the terms of the agreement, American Genealogies admits to no wrongdoing. I called company president Michael Caputo today for a comment about all of this, but so far, I haven't heard from him. Karen and Nolan?
Okay, thanks, Jerry. Trouble in Milton keeps people indoors.
And a research group says the state should spend more bucks on bridges. These are some of the stories on tonight's Pennsylvania in a Minute. Some people in Milton were told to stay indoors last night while firefighters dealt with an overheated tank of chemicals. 5 firefighters and a policeman were treated at a hospital after suffering from the noxious gas. The accident took place in a mostly industrial area of Milton.
The Securities and Exchange Commission has reportedly started its largest investigation ever into the nation's municipal bond market. The Philadelphia Inquirer says billions of dollars may have been raised through improper investments, with little of that money actually going to the intended municipal construction projects. A research group says Pennsylvania should spend an extra $300 million a year to fix highways and bridges. It says about 68% of state-maintained highways and 36% of bridges need to be repaired or replaced. The state is expected to spend more than $1 billion on repairs this year.
A new law just signed by the governor requires the certification of companies that test homes for dangerous levels of radon gas. The new law gives the DER the authority to regulate the firms. Radon is a radioactive gas that's been linked to lung cancer. And that's Pennsylvania in a Minute. And the Weather Watch is next with our chief meteorologist, Tom Clark.
Another busy day for you, Tom.
Oh, you bet. The air conditioning has never felt better, though.
Yeah.
So humid. When we come back, we'll look ahead through the weekend, and I'll tell you if it's going to stay hot. You're watching Newswatch 16 on WNEP TV. We're proud to serve Laceyville and all of Wyoming County.
Get your Bronco garage now with no money down. This one-car garage can be yours for as little as $61 a month, or this two-car model for only $91 a month. Each garage is completely erected with 2 windows, 1 entry door, reinforced concrete floor, and 1 or 2 overhead doors. Call for your free brochure showing all models today at 1-800-438-8500.
When you're all alone and you're hungry strong, who you gonna call? With an oven on wheels, we deliver free. Who you gonna call? When you see our trucks in your neighborhood, who you gonna call?
The Newsies, the Hunger Busters, now open Valmont Plaza, Hazleton, and Middle Road, Nanticoke.
About 550 Lackawanna County customers of Pennsylvania Gas and Water Company will have no water tomorrow. They're customers in Uptown Jessup. PG&W says workers will replace a pipe at the Oliphant No. 1 reservoir. The work will begin at 8 tomorrow morning, and for about 8 hours, people in Uptown Jessup will have dry taps.
And we know some of you are very anxious to see live Doppler now to see where those storms are, and I think Tom will oblige. Tom?
And they're still flashing away, Nolan. We do have a very stagnant weather situation, very sticky out back tonight. The sun is shining now, but some dark clouds on the horizon. Another inch of rain in the backyard today. We've measured 3.5 inches of rain over the past 2 days. And I want to tell you, the backyard, the Kentucky bluegrass looks magnificent. No patches of brown in the backyard tonight. Now, beginning in Wyoming, my weather watcher Mike Patel, he measured 3.3 inches of rain today, almost 5.5 inches of rain there in the past 2 days. 79 degrees now, and a few peaks of sun. Marjorie Lake in Greeley tells me 85 at her place in Pike County. And in Shenandoah, Phyllis Timmons tells me 88. But no rain down here today at her place. Now, there's a view along the Susquehanna River today. That is in Luzerne County. These heavy thunderstorms don't affect the river levels too much, but they do affect the small streams. It is 77 out back now. The humidity is a stifling 80%. The wind from the southwest, it is light and no help at all at cooling, and the barometer falling from 30 inches even. High temp here today, 85 degrees before the storms hit, 67. The muggy low last night, 103 back in 1936. That is the highest temperature on record since the turn of the century here in northeastern Pennsylvania. 77 a year ago today. Here's the Skywatch 16 live Doppler radar. I want to get on this side because big thunderstorm, heavy downpours now near the Benton area in northern Columbia County. This storm has come southeastward out of Sullivan County. So perhaps Berwick could be hit with a big thunderstorm within the next hour or so. More storms now up to the north in Sullivan County, Bradford County, and Susquehanna County. So these storms will be coming down out of the north across Wyoming County over the next hour. But nothing yet in the Wilkes-Barre-Scranton area. It is clear and no rain down to the south towards Stroudsburg and down towards Frackville in that area, towards Selinsgrove and Sunbury. But, again, more thunderstorms are heading down from the north, and so a few areas will see some heavy downpours overnight tonight once again. Now, here's my forecast for tonight. We do have a kind of a stalled low-pressure trough in the area, and that is helping to kick off these thunderstorms along with the high heat and the humidity. A hit-or-miss situation overnight tonight. Temperatures for lows not too far from 70, and the winds will be light. Now, here's the sunrise time for tomorrow morning. That will be at 5:39, and the sunset at 8:38. If you're heading down to the shore this weekend, partly sunny on Saturday, some thunderstorms around. Mostly sunny on Sunday down there, near 90. Ocean water temperatures in the low 70s this weekend. Scattered showers tonight. The flood watch remains in effect for the area as more heavy downpours are in the area tonight. Some dense fog in some areas towards morning. 88 tomorrow, some sun, high humidity. More thunderstorms will develop in the afternoon, and there'll be some storms around tomorrow night, some packing very heavy downpours. Partly sunny on Saturday. Again, more thunderstorms through the weekend. Highs near 90 through Sunday. And look at that, cooling off to 87 on Monday. Okay?
All right.
Okay, thanks, Tommy. Tim Carlson is next with the Sports Watch and the All-Star Pitchers.
Plus, an area man who's a world champion in front of the 8 ball.
Really cool.
Me too.
The captain's got to be a sponsor. How about the dining room there?
No, it's just
Yeah, I can see that.
good. You agree?
We make beautiful furniture affordable at Wilkes-Barre's Best. The Town and Country Furniture Gallery, Main Street, Wilkes-Barre.
Just how I did. Late-breaking news and sports, too, right, Tim?
Yeah, why did they wait till 6 o'clock to do this? I don't know why. Just out a few minutes ago, the announcement of pitchers and backup players for this Tuesday night's Major League Baseball All-Star Game. For the National League, manager Davey Johnson and league officials have chosen pitchers Rick Sutcliffe of the Cubs, Mike Scott of Houston, Oral Hershiser of the Dodgers, Sid Fernandez of the Mets, Rick Russell of Pittsburgh, and all of them, of course, are possible starters. None has been chosen yet. The relief pitchers chosen: Steve Bedrosian of the Phils, Lee Smith of the Cubs, and John Franco of the Reds. The backup players include the Phillies' Juan Samuel and the Mets' Keith Hernandez. So many to list, we'd be here all day. All right, American League manager John McNamara and league officials selected these pitchers: Mike Witt of California, Brett Saberhagen of Kansas City, Dave Brigetti of the Yanks, Dan Plesac from Milwaukee, Jack Morris of Detroit, the Mariners' Mark Langston, Bruce Hurst of the Red Sox, Jay Howe from Oakland, and Tom Henke of Toronto. Saberhagen most likely will start, although he has not been chosen. Reserve regulars for the American League include Dwight Evans of the Red Sox and George Brett of Kansas City, Brett's 12th straight All-Star appearance. Well, the game of pool has gotten a bad rap over the years. Most people think it's played by delinquents and ne'er-do-wells in smoky billiard halls or dive bars. Well, that's not always the case, especially on a worldwide competitive basis. Scranton's Jim Rempe will tell you pool is a very sophisticated sport played in some of the world's most beautiful places. Rempe's won 63 titles and 9 world championships and works with a $10,000 pool cue. Sports Watch 16's Tom Tidy says Rempe's a class act in a classy game.
In Europe, they play in tuxedos. Here in the States, the three-piece suit will do. They are the world's best pool shooters, and one of them is Scranton's Jim Rempe.
I remember when I started, I was playing 10 hours a day, every day. In hot days like today, I was in the pool room playing. I loved it, though. But again, that's what you got to have. You have to have that desire to accomplish things. And I said to myself, I'm going to be world champion at this game.
Tournament pool has changed drastically over the years. Most of those changes have been for the better.
You can see the all-flush billiard rooms anymore, and there were waterfalls in the middle of them, and there's phones by the tables and waitresses, and the sponsorship money is really flowing into the game. Like last year, I won the World 9-Ball Championship with $35,000 first prize. This year at the Taj Mahal, they're going to run a tournament with $100,000 first prize.
Jim Rempe has been playing pool professionally for 17 years. And if there's one thing he's learned over that time, is once you get your shot at the table, you better not miss.
The pool is the only game in the world, and I defy anybody to come up with another game, that you compete and not get your chance at the table. There's no other game like this game. So the pressure in this game is just incredible, especially when you're playing a top player. There's one miss, and you're allowed to just sit in the chair for the rest of the time, and that's it. I mean, you might not even showed up, but they're all good players out there. But like I said, out of the 400 that are out there, there's about 12 that make a good living, and there's about 40 that are usually around the money all the time.
Where do you fit in the 400?
I'm in the top 2.
Right now, Jim might be number 2 when it comes to pocketing money, but when it comes to pocketing balls, there's nobody better. Tom Tidy, Sports Watch 16, Scranton.
I want to be his manager. I wonder why.
$10,000.
Yeah, rack 'em up.
Thanks, Tim.
Thank you, Tim. When Newswatch 16 continues, a live update on that Shavertown flooding.
The water is going down and the cleanup begins.
Lafitte, Louisiana, and Old Milwaukee both mean something great to these guys. Lafitte leads flat bottom boat races. and a Cajun beef that'll set your mouth on fire. And Old Milwaukee needs a great beer. Cold, crisp, Old Milwaukee beer. And smooth, golden Old Milwaukee Light.
There's nothing like the flavor of a special place. It's Old Milwaukee beer.
Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light.
It doesn't get any better than this. Finally, let's get an update on that Shavertown flooding.
Newswatch 16's Mark Davis is live now in Shavertown. Mark, what's the latest?
Well, Karen, first of all, I can tell you that your mother's okay. She was getting her hair done right here. She's fine. She's on her way home. Also, this is a very isolated type of flooding. Just from the time we were on earlier in the newscast, the water was here, and now it has receded all the way back to here. What these are a small army of volunteers from all over Luzerne County that have answered the call for help. There's people here from Kingston, Wilkes-Barre Township, Plymouth, you name it, they're coming, because next time it could be their town where they need the help. So there's a lot of manpower, a lot of pumps, and they've moved in like a small army waiting for the water to go down. They'll move in, pump the cellars out, and just assess the damage. Again, the Red Cross is here just assessing to see if anybody has to be put up for the night. At this time, it's only 1 or 2 people, but we're in a very small, isolated area. If you live below this, you may be wondering, where's all this water going? Emergency management tells me that there's nothing to worry about. There's some very large catch basins down at the bottom in the Luzerne-Kingston area, which should be able to handle all of this water as it moves down the mountain. So a very isolated, very flash situation, which is very quickly coming to an end here in Shavertown. I'm Mark Davis, live with the Instacam. We'll have more on the update. Karen, Nolan?
Okay, Mark, thank you. And that is Newswatch 16 for Thursday.
Be sure to join us tonight on Newswatch 16 Update when meteorologist Tom Clark will keep track of the stormy weather on Skywatch 16's Doppler radar.
ABC and World News Tonight is next with another dramatic day of testimony from Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North. For the team, thanks for joining us.
Enjoy your evening.
Newswatch 16 wants to hear from you. Call 1-800-533-NEWS. Toll free from anywhere in Pennsylvania. Call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. 1-800-533-NEWS.